Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I'm going to be speaking about how liberation is your true nature. Now, I get a lot of clients and a lot of friends and a lot of individuals and a lot of sleepers come to me and asking me, how do I get in the zone? How do I get in the zone? And it's a very common question in order for you to get into the flow state. And I understand that. But my answer to you would be a profound one, which would probably leave you a little bit confused. And that is, you are the zone. When you told yourself, how do I get into the zone, it became something for you to attain, which got you out of the zone. So how do you get in the zone? You feel it. You understand you're already there. It's already within you. It's like me asking, how do I get that person's oxygen? It's like, you're already breathing, right? You're already breathing. Liberation is your true nature. Now, a lot of things and initiations and rituals and things that we do sometimes can extend the process. All these things are doing is they're giving us much more permission for us to feel our true nature and get back to ourselves. So in Latin, they have this term called eviturnitas, which basically means that eternity and time are one. Kumaraswamy called it now ever, or the always now. It is basically the esoteric moment within each moment of exoteric time. A lot of these gurus, they speak to you and they tell you certain things, and they make it sound so spacey and unreal and out of this world that it confuses a lot of people, right? It's like moksha, samadhi, these things that we have to attain, enlightenment, right? Enlightenment is your true nature, okay? Now, you can obviously go into the deep texts and the ancient literature and really gain much more of an understanding of this, or you can experience it by just closing your ears, right? The Brahmins say, well, if you just close your ears and you just tune in, what do you hear? Oftentimes you'll hear an om. Now the om is not necessarily the sound. Om is not a sound that you hear, but it is a silence that you sense. You're the bridge between the form and the formless, between physical world and metaphysical world, between heaven and earth, between conscious and subconscious. We are the bridge, and that bridge can also be called any kind of bridge, right? In the flow state, we call an alpha theta bridge, which is basically like you're going from relaxed wakefulness into a deep trance state of theta. Anything below beta is hypnosis technically, but if you look at it in terms of the flow state, 8 hertz per second, it's like that really gives you an understanding of what this state is like. The Jivan Muktas in Sanskrit, they have these liberated individuals, and they say that ignorance and suffering in the world is from going and searching after something which we already have within us, right? So if we're like, oh, I must get confident, I must become happy, you are denying the fact that it's already within you, that it's already there, right? Haven't you felt joy and happiness before? Well, yeah, I have. So what was that state like? Well, I guess it was a feeling of lightness, of freedom, and yeah, that's your liberation, okay? That feeling of freedom where you feel like, yeah, I don't really have to put on a mask. I don't really have to pretend to be anybody. I don't really have to do anything. I don't have to say anything to have others be impressed by me, right? I'm just being. I'm simply just being and experiencing the world for what it is. I think the mantra of the world is always like, oh, why me? Why little old me? What did I do? I'm just a little tiny speck. How can I add value to this world? It's like you are the world. You know what I mean? So it's difficult to explain to somebody who hasn't had kind of a realization or an understanding. Maybe you have a logical, conscious understanding that I am a spiritual being, having a physical experience, and I'm in a human body. Actually experiencing that and noticing that and bringing that to the eternal now and in your experiences with other people, that's the true practice, right? That's where you're embodying the flow state, and you're seeing flow as everything, and everything that's not flow is just an illusion. Yeah, I'm God, that's God, this is God, that's God, this is God. Everything around me is that omnipotent, omnipresent energy that permeates everywhere and nowhere at the same time. The Chinese believe that, and I don't want to say Chinese believe because, if I have any Chinese listeners, please explain this in much more depth because this is just my own understanding of it. There's a psychosomatic pattern called Li, okay? Not Bruce Lee, okay? It's just called L-I, Li. And what Li is essentially that organic pattern which we can tap into within our own bodies, which gets us to recognize the Tao or the way. Understanding the universal essence in order. It's the natural understanding of the world. So we want to become like an uncarved block again to be able to truly experience this and get back to our natural state. You want to practice coming back to the moment and dropping everything, right? Just drop everything, like blank slate. Let's go, next moment. Something confusing happens, blank slate. Let's go, right? So that's kind of a simplistic or a reductionist understanding, but that's really powerful when you can experience that ability to let it all go and start from scratch. But you're not starting from scratch, you're actually starting from experience, but you actually want to empty the cup completely. I'm sure you've heard of that before. When you're learning from a mentor, you want to empty the cup completely, right? If you still have some water in there, it's going to be diluted and, your old teachings are going to make your new teachings more toxic, right? It's going to stop its pure, most full understanding of it, okay? So half knowledge is dangerous, right? As they say, half knowledge is dangerous. So as we follow this Tao, as we follow this way, Joseph Campbell calls it following your bliss, or following this feeling good, okay? That's, again, I'm simplifying it for people to understand. It's like feeling good and understanding that will get you this harmonic resonance or this yin to be able to bring your yin to the world, all right? You gotta bring your yin to the world because you shine like a pearl and you gotta unveil every single thing that makes it surreal, and that I feel every single thing that make me feel. A lot of people use these new age concepts to kind of avoid going into the realness of a situation. Like, let's say someone is experiencing heartbreak, you just go, yeah, but everything is illusion, man. It's all harmony. So yeah. How does that help them? And how are you using that wisdom, in a sense, to actually support them? If you're like, hey, you're just like, that's spiritual gaslighting, right? It's like, hey, you lost them, so it doesn't matter anyway. Everything's all an illusion anyway. It's like, that's kind of cynical, isn't it? It's like, oh, a pseudo-Buddhist kind of understanding of something and then going out and then trying it out. Like, I think it's better to just have your own internal practice and have the answers come to you, right? You want to become a satellite dish. You want to become a receiver, but then you're also giving, right? There's no receiving without giving, and that is the law of karma. And I feel like a lot of us, we confuse sin with this bad thing, but the real meaning of sin is an archery term, all right? The real meaning of the word sin comes from archery, which means you missed your mark, all right? You missed your mark. Like, you were going somewhere, and that's just a reminder to you as you're sinning that, look, course correct a little bit, man. It's like, that's not the way, That's not the Tao. That's not the true path. The I Ching, or the Book of Changes, right? It's like you're changing along the path. This is a process of self-transformation from lead to gold, from Purusha, which is like the pure awareness. And if you can truly, in every moment, come from that pure awareness and tell yourself, what do I love about that? Or simply, I love that. I love that. Yeah, I feel lonely, and I love that. Yeah, I'm sort of confused about what to do in this situation, and I love that. I don't know what to do next, and I love that. Love is such a pure and amazing consciousness, and anything that you see, in all these movies and all media has been trying to sell you, love has been diluted in sort of like Hallmark cards, Valentine's Day, all these different things, where it's really the experience of connection. And once you can connect with yourself, you can love yourself, right? Just like you got to know yourself to love yourself as well. If you don't know what you're doing, if you feel like, man, I feel out of control, that's where your work is, to get that control back. It's about not forcing it, or you can't force the control back. It's about this tender control. It's like a gentle nudge and a weaving of the natural essence that is already there. Understand that there is a natural energy that is already there, and it's within you. You are the uncarved block, without ethics, without rules, without dichotomies, without different labels, right? If you've given yourself different labels, like, it's fun to give ourselves labels and, things like that, but it's not really serving us to give ourselves unhelpful labels. So take off the labels that aren't serving you, and once you get to that ego death place of understanding, you go from individuality to universality. Then you start to, radiate that pure essence. And I think a lot of people who are super charismatic, or they speak really well on the camera, or even they just radiate this kind of energy, I believe that they have cultivated this true nature, this essence of liberation and freedom within themselves that they can carry. And it's not a carrying of burden, right? We carry other people's problems on our shoulders. We carry our weight of our past. But you are only carrying what is true and pure to you. And by doing that, you feel a lot more light. It's like I'm not attached to anything, right? I'm purely connected to everything, but I'm not attached to anything. So I hope this video helped you out. I mean, at least it gave you a different kind of vibe, a different kind of frequency, a vibration to tap into and listen to. I hope that it served you in some way. If you are interested, I do offer coaching one-on-one. So if you are interested, do shoot me a message on Instagram. Having said that, have an amazing day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary.